Alrighty, now our next presenter up on the stage team is one of our platform speakers, and she has ran her own marketing agency and has got 20 years of marketing experience behind her. Okay, she's made it her mission to make marketing as simple and as effective as she possibly can. Righto, she leads a team of extremely talented marketing professionals here on the sunny coast, and they have clients all over the country and the globe. Okay, so she's an expert in all things website, social media, normal traditional strategies as well. She's also an amazing EUP graduate and board client at the moment. And without further ado, we're going to welcome to the stage Cara Schot. Give her a hand.
How lucky I am to have Cara, Paul and the team at Pixaco. They're amazing. They've changed my life. They do everything for me, from SEO to marketing, advertising, Google. They do just like unbelievable amount of work, and I'll be forever grateful to Cara and the team. Honestly, they've changed my life. To think how badly I used to do it myself, and now we have so many leads, we can't even handle them.
We've been working with Pixaco for over a year now, and the team make it so easy for us. They sit down with us on a monthly basis, and we go through all the strategies of the different marketing channels, and they have just made it super easy for us, one, to understand. They give us real data, and they are just an awesome team to work with.
Before Pixaco came along, I was super stressed out trying to find and do and create social marketing. I'm fully leveraged out of that now, and Cara and her team at Pixaco totally take care of everything for me in the branding, social media, digital footprint arena, and I can get on with the more important things in my business that make me money.
So I have a question for you. Who here, show of hands, knows how big their digital footprint is for their business? One of my clients. Excellent. And another one. Let's flip that now. Who here has no idea how big their digital footprint is? And who potentially has no idea what I'm talking about? Good, okay. Room for improvement. So you're all in the right place. Excellent. As Pete so eloquently put, my name is Cara and I'm from Pixaco Creative and Marketing right here on the Sunshine Coast. Most fabulous place to live, with an amazing team of 15. And I'm here to share my absolute passion and my heart, which is marketing. Businesses like yours to help them grow. Now, if you've entered the realm of marketing, you'll know that there are like a million things under there. It's kind of like the postcode of Buderim. Everyone on the Sunshine Coast lives in Buderim. So I'm only going to focus today on the digital side of the house, okay? I'm going to forget about all the rest, and we're just going to focus on your digital footprint. So who here wants to make a bigger impact online with their business? Can I get a yes or yes? Excellent. So let's start off with exactly what it is. Now, I'm not going to focus on your personal digital footprint. So any questionable pictures you may have, text or emails or websites you may have looked at that you shouldn't have, that is your business. I'm not going there today. I'm going to focus on the business digital footprint. And simply put, this is my definition because the dictionary definition was just way too long for me. It is the visual space that your business takes up online. Now, if you think about that in a literal sense of the word, if you think about like 100 years ago in London, just picture that you're a retailer and you have a small shop front. As you accumulate more customers and wealth, you would get a bigger shop front, right? And then it would the bigger you got, that would happen faster. And then you would end up with a bit of more momentum and like kind of a Harrods of London situation. Has anyone seen that massive building, Harrods of London? So it takes up quite a large physical footprint, and you can see it from quite far away. So we're really lucky to be business owners in a digital era, and you don't have to be the wealthiest business owner to have the biggest or a big digital footprint. So more so than ever before, we can actually play with the bigger players. We just have to be more savvy about it. So to be really clear, very clear here, the bigger your digital footprint for your business, the more eyeballs are going to be seeing your brand because you're taking up more space, and the more engagement, inquiries, customers, sales you are going to get without you being involved in all of that, or without your team, which gives us, Bruce's favourite L word, more leverage, right? That's what we're all here for. Something, actually, that I would like to note, in the past 2 years since COVID has happened, and I know and I respect that everyone has a COVID story, but something that I personally noticed was that there are a lot of business owners that probably could have or should have been more online at that stage. They knew that they should have changed from a bricks and mortar to an online store. They knew that they should have had more processes digitized, and they're kind of like just caught with their pants down, right? Ugh. But we also had a bunch of clients that were already super savvy in that space. They'd already had quite a large digital footprint, and they were so well positioned to take advantage of this massive online consumerism boom that has happened in the last 2 years. And so I do see a little bit of complacency now that we're coming back to normal, with some people going, oh, do I really need to worry about where I am online? Like, that's never going to happen again. But studies are showing that over 50% of people in the world actually prefer the online shop now. They prefer to go and research online and shop online before they either go in person to make the transaction or go into a shop to shop now anyway. So it's not going away. And also, if you haven't noticed, our consumers or our customers are actually getting younger. We're getting older and they're getting younger. So has anyone ever seen a 2-year-old work an iPhone? Or a 3-year-old work an iPhone? I know they can work one better than my 60-year-old mother can. So it's not going away. And in actual fact, now is the cheapest time that will ever be to be online. It is only going to get more busy and more expensive, and we're working into like the metaverse and places like that, augmented reality. This is not going away. So we just want to become a bit more educated, right? And stake our claim. We know that 4.66 billion people are on the internet worldwide. That's just a fact. Digital is great because we can just measure everything. It's not opinion. I don't have to make anything up. It's just fact. That's most of the developed world. That's all your customers. They're all there. And 6 million of them are shopping online every minute. So they're opening their wallets, they're freely spending their money, not really worried about security or anything like that. They're spending online right now, 6 million. 6 million next minute, 6 million the minute after that. You get the picture. There are people shopping online all the time. So my next question to you then, are you missing out on some of that traffic? Are you missing out on inquiries simply because you're not visible enough online? And potentially, could you just stop gifting traffic to your competitors that are online or more online? So how does one go about getting more online or getting a bigger digital space? You need to be on more platforms. Simple as that. There are tens, probably hundreds of thousands of platforms to choose from, which can seem overwhelming. So you'd have to choose the ones that make more sense to your business. And they would make more sense because that's where your customers are. So there has to be some method to that madness and a bit of strategy. And you also have to show them good content, can't be giving them rubbish. But that's essentially how you do it. And so I'm going to cover the 7, if I can count with my fingers, I'm going to cover the 7 foundational elements or platforms that I think probably actually everyone in this room could use and master to grow their digital footprint. A lot of you, and it is a bit of a spectrum, right? A lot of you will be on some of these platforms or kind of like know about it, but all of them can be worked on to be much better so you can take up more space and be better on these platforms too. So this is for newbies and it's also for those that are masters. So we're going to start with number 1, which you probably guessed is going to be your website. I know that sounds really simple. Your website's your home base for your brand. Show of hands who has a website. There is actually not everyone in the room with their hands up, so we've already got some great room for improvement. Now, show of hands again who absolutely loves their website and thinks it's the best representation of their business right now. All of Pixelco should have their hand up, I hope. Good, there's a few, so still more room for improvement. Show of hands who measures the conversions on their website each month and knows how to make their website better. Fabulous, there's a few. And then hands up who's updated their website in the last 2 months. Gold stars for you guys, see me afterwards. Excellent. So we are in 2022, so we do know that having a website is not enough just to have a website. It's not 1995. So people are wanting to read information, they're wanting to buy your product, they're wanting to ask the customer support chat, they're wanting to get a quote online, they're wanting to do all this stuff when they're in their pajamas on the couch at home at night time. So they don't want to wait till tomorrow to business hours, they're busy and the kids and the work and all of that. So is your website good enough to be able to convert customers while you're not there? Or are they just going to go somewhere else? We know it takes 0.05 seconds for a user to form an opinion about your website that determines whether they're going to stay or whether they're going to leave. There's just so much choice on the internet these days. There is so much choice, right? They don't have to wait around for a 1995 website. And the opinion they're making about your website is actually the opinion they're making on your business as well, which seems very shallow, like, judging a book by its cover, but that is actually exactly what they're doing. So if you're showing them an outdated 1995 website, they can only assume, because they don't know you, they can only assume that that's actually the level of product that you're okay with. So you're okay to deliver up that type of kitchen or that type of coaching course or that type of whatever, because that's like your standard, right? That makes sense. So here's a little example. Just picture this. You have got like $20 billion worth of businesses and you've just bought a holiday home at Lake Tahoe. You've got in between all your board meetings, you've got half an hour and you want to choose some go online and choose some furniture to go into your holiday home so when you arrive in a month it's there and you can just relax. You don't have time to be like shopping around too much. You've got lots of money. Money's no problem. It's a time thing. So you jump online and you find that there's 2 websites that come up in Google that are in your area, right? And you've just got to decide really quick. So already I know that this one actually sells furniture because there's a picture of it. And this one I've already got to go looking. And I think the quality, if they're okay with that quality of design, I'm thinking it's probably just not for me. So in an instant, that second website might have a way better customer service and way better products, and it's so simply being let down by what I'm seeing online. So 75% of consumers are making a judgment actually just on the design of the site, what it looks like, let alone all the other stuff that a website is supposed to do. So that's a pretty big, the design is a pretty big component. So being in the industry for 20 years, I thought when I started my business, I would actually have a separate user interface designer. It's not even a web developer. So when someone comes in to get a website, it's designed for the user flow and experience way before it goes to see a developer, because that is just kind of too big a stat to ignore. Other things equally as important, well, maybe second down, let's say. How well is your website written? Did you write it yourself? Are you a good writer? It's okay not to be. People have got 6 seconds to make a decision. They will look at the homepage, they've got 6 seconds to skim through. Is it articulate enough and attention-grabbing enough to be able to sell your product and tell them what you do in 6 seconds? This is like an internal question there. Ask yourself that of your website. Do you have calls to action, again at the top of the homepage and all through the site? That's what CTA stands for, calls to action, to tell them what to do. They just want to know how to buy something. So if you don't have prices or you don't have a way to contact people, you're just actually making it really difficult. Do you have up-to-date information? Is your software up-to-date? Is it glitchy? Nothing worse. Does it load fast enough? No one waits for that spinning wheel anymore. So if you're giving them the spinning wheel, you're sending traffic away to someone else. Is it easy to navigate? Can they work their way through that? No problem. Is it a pleasure to use? Does it have helpful content? Are they even getting what they were looking for in Google in the first place? Do all the links work? Simple, but so many don't. We see so many that don't have links working, and it's very frustrating for the end user. And is it functional? Think about your customer in their pajamas, on their couch at night time, and you're not there to answer questions. Can they get all of their questions answered? Booking a time to talk to you, buying a product, getting a price, getting all the information they need, talking to your customer service, knowing when the answer is going to come back from your customer service. Can they do all of that in their pajamas? Here's a couple of examples just to show you some before and afters. This is an incredible business actually here on the Sunshine Coast. Started out 9 years ago. She had a website built and it was great for a solo tax agent, and she had big dreams to serve some of the biggest customers, some big companies in Australia, big, hairy, audacious goals. So it was, it's fine. It was where she was at then. Now, fast forward 9 years, and she's grown an incredible business, and she works with some of the biggest brands in Australia. So when she came to me and said, I'm going to, approach people like Google, what do you think? What do you think of my website? I was like, well, if Google sees that, they might be like, you look like a one-man band back from 9 years ago. Like, can you handle their business? I don't know that that's really showing them that. Plus, with her team that she's trying to keep nice and lean, there's so much more the website can do to automate her systems to save her admin time too. So fast forward, and we've kept her brand, but her website has completely changed. We've got segmentation tools so people can find where they're going, whether they're commercial or whether they're just a consumer. We've got all of the amazing awards she's won. We've got the different businesses that she works with so people know that they're in the right place. So when Bupa come to see her, I think they're already a customer, but Google come to see her, they're like, oh yeah, yep, she does those businesses. That's the type of business I'm expecting to work with. So you see, like, having a website that matches where your business is at today is different from just having a website. Another awesome business that's in this community that do amazing things. So Community Access Care came to me and they had set up their basic digital footprint, which was cool, and had their branding done, and then they just experienced phenomenal growth, absolutely phenomenal, and like their team was growing and everything was growing, and they were like, this footprint doesn't match how amazing our business is. So we looked at their whole digital footprint, but the base starts with the website, right? So that was their old one. And then their new one, apart from having obviously up-level design and functionality, we're giving people calendars so they can go and book their activities. We're giving them inquiries. We're helping them with recruitment, and so they can find out how to work there. There's so much more functionality that's supporting their team as well. So it can do a lot more than just look pretty. So, action items, because we all need to take some actions away from this. If you want to get out your Get Shit Done list, that's in your bag, because there's nothing worse than talking about marketing fluff and not taking action. So the first action item, for those that didn't raise their hand, because you don't have a website, just please get one. First step, to throw your hat in the ring. Second one, if you've got one that you don't think quite represents the business that you have today, get someone to have a look at it and tell you what can be done. Lots of people will do audits, lots of website companies, we do it, lots of people do. Get someone to look at it, normally free. And thirdly, if you're going to go for a massive up level and you're looking like my customer was that's in the tax, and you're really thinking about completely raising your business level, think about going and getting a user interface designer to have a look at that site and look at the automations and the flow and how that can work for you to save you time before you just go and get it developed. It's a really great idea to do. So, once we've done that, the website, I do have to say, this is a really important distinction. A lot of people will get a website and then they'll call and they'll say, so, like, I'm not top of Google and I haven't got like 500 leads a day, but I built a website. And we're like, okay, so next thing to know is that your website is your home base. It is just that, it's your home base. If you think about that, all the roads need to lead into your home base. So if you don't have any roads, no one's coming to your home. So your website works in conjunction really well with other platforms that are traffic generating platforms. So your website's not traffic generating, but other platforms are. So the next 3 spaces that we have, or 3 ways to grow your digital footprint, are owned by the behemoth Google. Now, I'm not going to talk about the other search engines because Google owns about 94% of that search engine traffic in Australia. So if you're in other countries as well trading, other companies do play a little bit of a part, still not as much as Google, but in Australia it's Google. So we've got to be friends with Google, right? If we want to be found and get more customers. So we know there's 5.7 million Google searches every minute worldwide, which is fantastic. There's that many people that we've got to play with here. And 300,000 of those searches belong within Australia. So if you're Australian only, still 300,000 people looking for stuff. What we know is that when someone types something into Google, 75% of people will not go past that first page. In actual fact, they won't even scroll to the bottom of the first page. So you got to be in the top half of the first page. So when people go on about ranking page 1, first page, that's what they're talking about, and that's why. And here's a pretty graph to explain that even further. You'll see the listing number 10 is kind of about the bottom of the first page. So you'll see there's a massive drop-off, and the people that keep searching are people that are probably looking for something very specific. So there's 3 different placements in Google. I want to be really clear when we're talking about Google. If you say I've tried Google, that means nothing to anyone, because there's 3 very different types of things you can try in Google. And my hope is that you understand the different placements I'm talking about today. So when you have conversations, they can be really quality conversations about marketing, rather than just, I've tried Google, I've tried Facebook. What have you tried? So on that side, number 2, we've got Google Ads. Now that is paid. By paid, I mean that when your listing appears in Google and someone clicks on that listing, you pay for that click. So click, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So you are paying for the clicks to your website. On the other side, we've got the organic listings. 2 different places for organic listings. And we call them organic, kind of also means free. And what that means is when your listing comes up and someone clicks on it, you're not paying for that click. So all the free traffic, which is fabulous. And you might think, oh, I'm just going to go free then, that's awesome. But if you've mastered the free side, you'll know that it can take quite a long time, months, sometimes years, to raise your rankings to get the top of that organic side, And sometimes you've got to pay someone else a lot of money to do that. So it's not really free. You just don't pay every time someone clicks. So different, in fact, the different interfaces that you use to master these, and in my business, they're actually different people. They're very different skill sets even to master these. What does that physically look like? Just to really cement this in. The top, we've got ads. I know the ads, and now you'll know the ads because I've got the word ads written next to them, right? It's pretty simple. 43% of people don't know their ads. So before anyone says, oh, but they're ads, so I won't click on that, most people do click on them because they don't know their ads. So we're just going to discount that argument. The next spot down is this map situation, which we call the map pack, and that is Google My Business. Hands up who's heard of Google My Business? Hands up who's got their business listing, claimed their business listing. Awesome. Still some room for improvement, which is great. Now, that's free to claim, by the way, and it's a really good spot in Google to be on the first page. So 63% of businesses don't even claim it, which is crazy. That is crazy talk right there. And then down the bottom, we've got, this is still on page 1, I did have to scroll a little bit. We've got the organic search listings, which is essentially what we talk about when we talk about SEO or search engine optimization. That's making sure your website's really good, so Google will deem it worthy of being in this ginormous list that goes for about 50,000 pages after that. That's position 1 of the organic search. 3 very different places. If you are in all 3, you're going to get clicked on, and you are going to get that traffic. 27% more traffic than if you're in 1 or 2 places, by the way. Side note, if you search on someone's business directly, this is also the Google My Business listing, so you'll see it, you'll probably know it like that as well. 3 very different placements and 3 very different sets of metrics to monitor it. I'm not going to go into the numbers, that's a little bit too deep diving today, but I will say, with Google Ads, you're paying money. So you want to know what the cost per lead or sale is. Move over, get over all the fluffy numbers, all the vanity metrics. If you're doing Google Ads, you want to know what that cost is, because the great thing is, you see here we've got $14.81 for an inquiry on Google Ads. If you know how much your cost per sale or your cost per inquiry is, and you want 100, you just put 100 times that in, if it's been run right. So it's quite a mathematical equation, and so the scaling then becomes more mathematical. With the other 2, which are the organic listings, Google My Business and the SEO, it's not money in, you're not paying Google for that, but there are still metrics that you want to get to, cut through the fluffy metrics and get to the number of inquiries, the number of sales, even number of website clicks. You want to get some metrics, because if you're working on increasing them, or you're paying someone to help you increase your rankings, you can tell if it's actually working or not by those metrics. So what you don't measure, you don't manage. Easy to manage. So if we get our lists out, our action item list, from Google, our action items would be 1, consider setting up Google Ads. Consider it. 2, claim your Google My Business listing if you haven't. Everyone's heard it, everyone's going to go to an EUP or a board, and no one's going to have an excuse. All the coaches have heard it too. Get an SEO audit on your website and see if there's some ways that you can improve your rankings, and start working on that too. 3 different places in Google, 3 different action items, and if you're amazing and you rank in page 1, for how many search terms? Could you have more? It's a spectrum, right? Keep working on it. So, we've done Google. Now, so actually, I just want to tell you a little story on Google. I have a client who called me the other day, and I thought this is a really interesting way of looking at it. He pretty much ranks first and is amazing at everything, and owns the top half of Australia for a product he manufactures, right? There is no competition. So for his marketing, he's really just making sure he stays at the top. He doesn't really need leads as such. It's an incredible place to be. So he called me the other day and he said, I need to up my Google ads. And I was like, okay. And he said, because I've heard that there's another business coming to town that's going to do what I do. And I am keeping my spot. And I thought, well, that's actually a really smart way to think about that too. Because I know, well, if I was the competitor, I would come in and I would bid on his business name, right? So he's going to be bidding on his own business name, so he's preventing someone else from taking his top spot. So it's like a preventative insurance measure too, if you're already really good. So if you think about Google Ads, or Google in general, we consider Google to be in the customer journey, people have got more demand for your product. There's a much higher purchase intent. If you think about when you go to Google, you are looking for something. You are looking for that pair of pink shoes that will match your jacket. You know what you want. Or you're looking for the 24-hour plumber or the emergency dentist. You generally have like quite a higher purchase intent, which means the actions people take from Google are probably going to be closer to becoming a customer. If we go back a step, so if you think about before someone really needs something and they're just more relaxed, more a relaxed intent, we've got social media, right? So this platform, whichever social media channel you want to be on, there's lots of them, people are more like just relaxed, again, in their pajamas on the couch. You can tell I spend a lot of time in my pajamas on the couch. They're just searching through social media and they don't want to buy anything right then and there. They're not looking for anything. They're showing stuff while they're relaxing that they might want. So their intent to purchase is a lot lower, but still that's a very important thing to note because, and I guess this is a simple way of saying it, your competitors might be getting people before they even get to Google to search you. In some industries that's more so than others. So now I'm saying there's two different placements on social media because just like Google, every social media channel has two very different placements, organic and paid. Now I'm actually just going to give you a quick reminder. Normally at this point of a conversation with someone, business owner, I normally get all the things that come up, like, oh, I hate Facebook, or no one likes Facebook, or I just don't like it's all for the young people, or whatever that they might say. There's a lot of people's personal opinions that come up about this. And this is a gentle reminder from the universe and from Pixel Co. that when we're talking about marketing, it's not really about you. It's not about you. It's about how we can best serve our customers and understand where they are at. So for me personally, we do social media all day long, but when I get home, I love Instagram and I don't like the rest of them. So I will scroll through my Instagram and I'm just relaxing and I love pictures. I'm very visual. That's where I hang out in my leisure time, right? And everyone's got their time, but I know that like 95% of conversions happen on Facebook. So in my business time, that's where I'm going to be, right? So it's not about me or what I like. It's about the data and where the customers are, if we're going to be smart about this. So that's your reminder. If you feel that bubbling up inside you, let's just remember. And if we do need some data to back this up, we know that there's a lot of people on social media. We already know that. 82.7% of Australians, and that was 2021. It's going to be more than that now. I think that's about 18 million, something like that, are on social media every day. From very young to very old. And in the world, I think that's about 2.8 billion. So if you're in a worldwide market, amazing, everyone's there. It's the world's biggest database that you can get to, probably the cheapest that we ever have before. They're all there. So the two different placements. This is something also that I get a lot of confusion around, and I want to be really clear on this. The ad side of the house is like, it's a different platform. different person in my business again. It's a whole different skill set running social media ads. Has anyone seen the back end of Ads Manager or Business Manager? It's like a cockpit of levers and dials and data and all sorts, right? Social media organic, on the other hand, is the words and the pictures and the stuff you post. It could be reels, it could be stories, videos, whatever it is that you post on your page. And so obviously the organic is free, and the paid, you pay Facebook for that privilege. So what we know about ads is that when you, I'll start on the organic. What we know about the organic posts is that 5% of your audience is likely to see your post. So I do often see a lot of business owners getting kind of caught up in spending a lot of time proportionately on their social media posts, and I'm thinking, why? It's only 5% of your followers. So if you think about, do a little bit of mental arithmetic, how many followers do you have on your social media platform? And then just think about what 5% of that is. So you'll come up with kind of a number. And then it's the 5% that are most engaged with you, so it's probably likely going to be your family and friends anyway, or your top fans that already know who you are. So if you think about that logically, that's not a traffic generating exercise, is it? It's not going out to new people or new leads, new customers, not unless you're in the tens of thousands of followers, in which case there's different strategies. So it's still very important. Like a website, we consider it a bit of a home base. People still want to come and see great quality content. They want to make sure you're alive and kicking, your business is still open, you've got great values and great products. Maybe they can see a gallery of things that you've done. But it's not going to go out and get you those new leads that you want. So that's where we have the paid ads. Now, when you go onto Ads Manager and you put together an ad that goes on social media, any of the social media platforms, it's not going to go on your newsfeed. It's a different place. The ad will go wherever we tell it to go, to who we tell it to go to. So, for example, we might have an ad, and it might go to mothers of children between the ages of 2 and 6 that live on the north side of Brisbane that are interested in BMWs. For example, we can have quite detailed targeting and we can tell the ad where to go. It's different from going on your newsfeed. So I do get a lot of times people go, I've tried Facebook, and when I get down to it, it's these two things, they put up a post and expected it to do maybe what an ad has done or should do. So two very different placements. What that physically looks like, here's Instagram. The one with the couch is an organic post, and the Woolworths one is an ad. So technically, the main difference is that there's a little word sponsored under the name, and there is a button at the bottom where you can click, but the picture in the middle can be anything on either. So there's not a great deal of difference. And there's my belated arrow to show you that. So some awesome uses for paid ads that we see in our agency. At the moment, there's a lot of recruiting. So we know there's a candidate crisis. We're really well aware of that. And a lot of HR teams know now that are finding that people are getting offered jobs when they don't have a demand for a new job. They're not looking. They just see one pop up in their Facebook feed that's offering them money, and they're like, sweet. So they don't even have to put a resume together. So we know we're kind of competing in a slightly different market at the moment for a lot of industries. So we're getting about, just as a ballpark, we're getting about $3 to $50 per candidate inquiry through Facebook ads at the moment. Anything from labourers to qualified engineers, support service staff, just like all different types, right? And it's just supporting the HR teams. So again, this is like, are we using social media to think a bit differently? I know it's different to how things have been done before, especially in a space like HR, but it's the biggest database that we've got access to, so we're using it for things that we might not have used it for before. And so I guess my question is, are you open to thinking about how it could be used to improve your business in ways that you haven't thought about using it before? Obviously, getting inquiries for services, booking sales calls, actually selling your products. If you think your product's not sellable on social media, just check again. We're doing garden fertilizer and all sorts. Agricultural machinery, as well as the general, like homewares and things like that, clothing and beauty and stuff. Because everyone's on social media, right? So if you've got anything you want to sell, generally, the people are on social media that are going to buy your product. Also, filling events, building database lists, and growing your follower base. They are things that we generally think social media can be used for. Very common ones. So action items, if everyone could grab their list out. 1, can you go and review your social media platforms? Just think, am I on all the ones that my customers are on? And if you don't know the answer to that, maybe can you do a little bit of research? You might be surprised. Are they on TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn? Where are they? So oftentimes Twitter is not used as much in Australia. We still test it because you just never know. And interestingly, we've got an agricultural company where the farmers out in the field are all on Twitter. Never would have thought. But they're on there and they're chatting up a storm, so that's where we are too. On your organic side of the house, are you posting regularly? Do you look alive? If someone went to find you, do you look like you're an actual live business? Are you posting good quality content? Do you look like you know what you're talking about? Don't feed them rubbish, give them good stuff. So when they get there, it helps to convert them. And have you considered advertising on social media platform of your choice to get you further business or grow your database? So we come to number 7. Now this is the last but definitely not the least, and I must say the email or the EDM, which stands for electronic direct mail, is probably the one thing that I see a lot of, especially in this room too, that people just forget about it. They just don't have time, or it's boring, or they don't like emails or whatever, they just forget about it. But it's up here because it's really important. So my recommendation, if you want actual numbers, is you should be sending something out at least once a month to your database. Do you have a database? Actually, I will ask that question because I do come across some people that have never collected their database of customers before. Really important. You actually own your database. If Facebook closed or Instagram closed or your influencer went away, if that's all you're relying on, just make sure you have a database. That's your gold. And when you sell a business and you've got a database, cha-ching, more money. So, with email, actually another little story I'll tell you is that I have a client who is probably in this room and doing her emails every month, but she wouldn't approve them. It would take a long time to approve them. And so one day the phone call was like, oh, we're just not going to leave the phone call until you approve this email and we send it out. Gentle, but firm. And we sent it out. And within 48 hours, I think she had about $4 million of future orders from the one email. Who thinks that was worth sending the email out? Would the orders have come in anyway? Maybe. Maybe her sales team would have had to work really hard to call all the customers and get the future orders. Maybe. So it saved a lot of time, and it triggered them and obviously gave her a bit of pipeline. Also, when you're talking about e-com, so emails are a bit different, service-based businesses to e-com. When you're talking about e-com too, I found it to be extremely valuable source of revenue when you get to past kind of about the 10,000 database mark. So if you're in an e-com business and you're thinking, oh, like I really should get to start a database, should really think about that seriously, because we've got e-com businesses where when you send out an email, you literally get thousands back. It's definitely a solid part of their revenue stream, sending out these emails. And also your email database list degrades by about 25% a year. That's the stat. So just on that, if you have a great database, also get this too, and people come and go, I've got a database, it's like 10 years old, that's nearly dead. Can't really use that because it's degraded by it. Like, the people have changed jobs, they've moved on, they don't have their email anymore, so you need to be actively collecting data for that database, and it needs to be like, yeah, if you're not getting like 25% a year, you're actually kind of not keeping up with inflation. So just think about the validity and how fresh that database is too. It's an important point to note. So, action items, actively add to your database, please. Please do that. Or think about ways you can do that. If it's a bricks and mortar, do you have incentives? Like, what's the offer? What are you giving them in return? Side note, if you say, please join my email newsletter, it is not going to work. You need to like make it exciting and give them an offer or some reason why they want to. No one just wants an email newsletter. And then email your database at least once a month. Let's just do that for me, please. Okay. So we've covered the 7 foundational elements. 7 things I think you guys could all do. If you haven't got them, you could start them. And if you are doing them, you could focus a little bit more on them and do them better. To grow your digital footprint, take up more space, the space that you deserve online, which is website, Google Ads, Google My Business, search listing, social media ads, organic posts, and email marketing. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to jump to a quick round table, and I want just 30 seconds on each person. I'm going to write the question, so there's a bit of suspense. Hang on a sec. Cool. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you've got an action item out of that. So that is the 7 elements that I believe everyone in here could work on, or at least choose one thing to work on from today. And as I said before, my business is Pixel Co Creative and Marketing. We've got an incredible team of people that work with me. And my offer to you guys, if you need help to take a look under the hood of your marketing, or any of those digital elements, your digital footprint, we're offering a free marketing review. So we've got a piece of paper on the tables. It's a white A4 sheet. If you could just find that and hand that out. And if you want to take us up on that free marketing review, the team and I have cleared our calendars for about 3 weeks worth of appointments. So we're just going to give you 60 seconds to fill that out. One important thing to note, please, I have been asked for the reviews before, and people have put me straight in an ads manager situation. So if you do want to deep dive on a very specific platform like Facebook ads or Google ads or SEO, please just go just find the checkbox appropriate to you. Some of those need a little bit more preparation than just straight into the phone call. All right, guys, we're going to wrap that up now. The EBS team, I believe, are going to come through. If you could just hold them above your head so the EBS team can grab them, so we just know who wants that marketing session. And I would like to thank you very much for your time. And just remember, a great marketing strategy will add fuel to the fire of your incredible businesses. So thank you.